Okay. From my point of view, people always ask me, what are you going to do with the criminals? Here's my answer. Every time you go to a supermarket and buy a box of Wheaties or anything, open that box and it's way down in the box. What do you mean by criminal? A lawyer would be considered a criminal in the future. The Supreme Court judges would be arrested as criminals, all of them, because they don't go into the background of a person. What made them that way? If you're brought up in the South, you're going to say, I'm going to give me a goddamn nigger, I'll go and kick his ass. Where do you get that from? The South. You get that from the subgroup you're brought up with. You're not born that way. You're not born with bigotry and prejudice. You learn it. It's so automatic you don't even feel it. Goddamn sweet. A dumb sweet. So you got all that you learn in your environment. And when girls say, well, you know how men are, men take you out on a date 3 or 4 times or sooner, then they try to get in your blouse, you say it's getting late, I hardly know it. The same old shit. They all behave the same way. Men like to fuck because they can get rewarded for it. There are my other guys that say, how many women did you screw this month? He says, 10. He's not looked upon bad. He's looked upon as Don Juan. The more women you screw, the greater you are. Women, if they screw around with 2 guys, they're tramps. Who wrote the book? The men. They're full of shit, too. They're full of shit. It's your motion pictures, your radio stations, your TV shows, all your movies are bullshit. They give you no information. Disney World is a place of entertainment. Disney World, a World's Fair on the future would make people smarter. They go in a certain way, come out much brighter. Do you understand what I'm getting at? I'm talking this way because I really care about people. I really would like to see them advance. Let me tell you what I mean by advance. Children's rooms would have small furniture. The toilet bowl, everything would be small. It's wrong to bring up children in a house of giants. It really is. Yeah. And the furniture should grow with the children. And the children should be brought up by parents who go to school first to learn how to raise children. They don't know how. They just have a lot of kids. A guy comes up to me, I have 8 kids. I say, what are they for? I never that question. What are they for? This is what we don't know, what they don't give us in school. We don't know how to live, how to relate to one another, how to share values, and how to disagree without getting angry. This is what's missing, and that's everything. Your schools are all bullshit. All your universities are managed. All news is managed news. It's released in terms of the values they want you to have. When I speak at a university, I don't pull my punches. I speak, for example, they invited us to Iceland. When I got there, they gave me 8 minutes. I couldn't do anything in 8 minutes. They invited me to, let's see, China. When we got to China, they said I would speak to 1,500 students, science students, at their schools. But that never came off, because the guy that invited us there gave us return tickets, but he didn't give anybody else return tickets. And he ran away with the money. And they caught him in Las Vegas with a suitcase full of money. Sent him back to China. I don't know how. But anyway, nothing happened in China. Then they invited us to Dubai, which I told you about, and they wanted us to design new cities, new buildings. And I said, why? They said, well, we wanted to be the top makers of the tallest building in the world. I said, why? They're like children. They're little tiny children. And I said, your system's not going to work. Everybody gets off at 4 o'clock, and the freeways in Dubai are jammed. If you stagger the calendar, so 1/7 of the population's off every day, your beaches are never jammed. You go to Key Biscayne, those of you that do, they have to build new freeways. It's so jammed. Weekends. But during the week, it's not. So if you stagger the calendar, you don't have that problem. There are over 2 million cars sit still for 8 hours a day in America while you're at work. So if you had automobiles that were for public use, you can see on top of that cabinet what automobiles would look like. They have impact sensors on them, so when they're 30 feet away at a given speed, the brakes go on. If you got mad at me, you couldn't even drive your car into my car. They're the same thing that makes a light go on when you walk up to your house. Proximity units. There need not be any automobile accidents. If you know where Radio City is, the Empire State Building, they take 1 million people up and down. They'll never crash. The elevators never crash. You have to take my word for when a lot of you don't remember, there was a time when human beings used to operate elevators, used to turn the crank. They never quite got to the floor, they had to work it up and down. And today the elevator tells you not only step back, if the door hits you, it backs off you. So technology is what made us different and made us, put us ahead of many other people. It's not politics. Politicians offer nothing. They're businessmen and lawyers. They don't even know how to solve problems. So I want to give you an example of problem solving, so you'll understand what I mean. Would you, if I can find, get me that conical shaped building up there on top shelf? Yeah, thank you.
This one?
Yeah, that one, the cone. Thank you very much. What happens when the government finds there's going to be a bad hurricane? They tell you to leave your house because it's going to be dangerous. So I've stopped the cars and say, where are you going? I don't know, but I'm going. If the government built this, no hurricane can pick up an inverted cone. The air will whirl around it, but it can't lift the roof off. Do you understand that? The windows are like airplane windows. Airplanes travel 600 miles an hour, so you need to worry about the wind. Then there's a turbine. That is a unit that's blown around by the wind. That keeps all the food in the refrigerator going, and it keeps the lights going. But if you get a hurricane, you might get a power outage for a week. All the food spoils, and all the refrigerators. Do you understand what I'm saying? This. If we made these all through Florida, and use it during the week for recreation or public meetings or anything you want. This is what I mean by what do you do about it. It's not enough to criticize your country without offering a possible alternative. There are beds that come down all around here. There's food for so many hundred people, and you have them all through the West Indies, wherever there are tornadoes. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Not the government says you'll have to leave. Where the hell do you go?